Hey guys, good segment from Jim. We're on to New Orleans now. We're going to talk to Brannon LeBouef about less than lethal options. Sometimes you might not be clear to use lethal force, but you still need to do something to de-escalate or get out of a situation. Let's go see Brannon.
Hey guys, Brannon LeBouef of NOLATAC Firearms Training. We're here at the soon-to-be reopened St. Bernard Indoor Shooting Center in Araby, Louisiana, our home range. But we're not going to talk about shooting. We're actually going to talk about some of the options available to you up until that point where you have no other option but to shoot. Less lethal options. Let's take a look. First off, I've solved a lot more problems in my life with a quick flash of light than I have with a firearm. And that's because lights illuminate threats, and with the technology available to us today, it's going to be a force de-escalation tool. People are going to turn their face away. It's going to momentarily blind them. It's going to help you get an extra second to determine if this is actually a threat that requires a gun, and if it is, to hopefully get to your gun while they're trying to scurry away from the light like a little cockroach. What I'm looking for in a defensive flashlight is very simple. I want something that generally has a momentary on and off switch. It has one setting, which is all bright on, which this one does not. The crenulated bezels are very popular, which is great. It's going to definitely do more damage if used as an impact tool. The problem with that, though, is that if you do it, it's going to cause a nasty cut, and it's going to bring some of the bad guys' DNA back with you. Hitting someone with a regular flat bezel is still going to cause a lot of damage, but hopefully not with as much blood. Moving on, pepper spray. I have a good deal of experience with pepper spray from a law enforcement background. Use several different brands and varieties. What we have available to us today is Saber Defense. Actually, the first department I was with, we were issued that. Great stuff. What pepper spray is going to do for you is it's going to give you a standoff distance. Whereas an impact tool or something that you actually have to use, like a stun gun where you have to be in reach of the person, this is going to allow you to hold that person back, hopefully. Before they get within your personal space, you can deploy the pepper spray. Thing to remember, though, is there is a percentage of the population that is resistant to pepper spray, and some people actually, depending on their diet, can form a tolerance to it where it doesn't have its full effect on them. Pretty small minority of people, but they are out there. Now, third, let's take a look at some of the more, the nicer tactical pens available. Tactical pens are great. They're generally some type of aluminum, machined aluminum or titanium or something. And what they're going to afford you is, one, a joint manipulation tool. On the blunt ends, they're going to afford you a pushing tool or kind of an impact device or even a pressure point device if you have that training. If we go ahead and use it as a stabbing device, that's where it moves from a less lethal tool to a lethal tool based on the application we're putting it in. But the pen in and of itself is not necessarily a lethal tool. Now, is this going to do anything for us that a regular Bic or Pilot pen is not going to do? Well, not necessarily. You could still use that if you had to as a lethal tool. However, having a more rigid body, it is going to afford us a little bit more option in using it as a joint manipulation tool and things like that. Also along those same lines, it's going to be something like this, commonly referred to as a monkey fist. It's just a weighted in, kind of a steel ball bearing wrapped in 550 cord or paracord, used as a keychain. It's in your pocket. All you have to do is grab your keys, and if someone's in that space, you can go ahead and use it as an impact device. Very simple, very effective. Again, you're going to want to have some type of close combat training in order to use this. Now, granted, you can just whack someone over the head with it and it'll be pretty effective, but to get the most out of it, there's definitely some training out there for tools like this. And then lastly, and what in my opinion is probably the most effective, is going to be something like a Taser. Let me be clear though, is a Taser is not a stun gun, two distinctly different technologies. A stun gun is a pain compliance tool. You stun the person and that small muscular area is going to be getting shocked, and it hurts. And we're hoping that that hurt makes them stop doing what caused you to shock them in the first place. A lot of people, particularly on narcotics, are going to be resistant to pain. Some people just have a very high pain tolerance. Just because you're shocking me here doesn't mean I can't be doing something with this hand. What the Taser is going to do is it deploys two darts that connect back to the unit. Those two darts, again, give you that standoff distance. They allow you to stop the threat, hopefully, before it gets into that personal space. Of course, all these things are going to be different depending on where you live, your local and state and federal laws on what you're able to use and not. But these are some of the options out there. There's certainly different brands and certainly different tools. The important thing is to do the research, know what your options are, and when you find something that works for you, go ahead and get the training. As always, be vigilant, be prepared, and be safe.